here at the top, and then I'll be happy to take your questions. Again, I don't have any details to provide on the reports of the pager blast. I can tell you, to my knowledge, there's no U.S. involvement in this at all. Again, it's something that we're monitoring. And in terms of potential escalation, I go back to what I said earlier in terms of a key focus for this department and the U.S. government writ large is on working with partners in the region, to include Israel, to prevent the conflict between Israel and Hamas from spiraling into a wider conflict. And that includes the tensions along the Israel-Lebanon border. And so we'll continue to strongly advocate for a ceasefire and the release of the hostages, and we'll continue to strongly advocate for a diplomatic resolution to the tensions that we're seeing along the Israel-Lebanon border.
Thank you. Just following up on the pager's question, does DoD assess that this was an attack by Israel, and do you consider this an escalation of the tensions on the northern border?
Yeah, as far as what it is, again, I just don't have anything to provide. And as far as escalation, broadly speaking, in the Middle East, this is something that we've been paying attention to for more than almost a year now, since Hamas's attack on Israel on October 7. And so we've been very, very focused. The Secretary's been very, very focused on ensuring that that the tensions in the region do not escalate into a wider regional conflict. And as I highlighted at the top, that's something that continues to stay top of mind. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Oh, thank you. All right. When it comes to the Middle East, that is something that we have spoken to before. We are always obviously concerned about that. This particular incident, I don't want to get into speculate about it or get into hypotheticals about it. When we think about the conflict along the blue line between Israel and Hezbollah, it has gone on for way too long, long enough, and so it is in everyone's interest to resolve it quickly and diplomatically. So we continue to believe that there should be a diplomatic resolution to this, and so I will leave it there. And well, actually, I'll add, this is why the ceasefire negotiation is so important. This is why the hostage deal is so important. This is why the president and his administration has been working around the clock, 24 hours to get that done. We believe the deal would help reduce tensions along the blue line, and that is one of the reasons. We believe diplomatic, obviously, efforts are critical and important at this time. As it relates to that incident, we've seen the reports. I just don't have anything to say beyond that.
On domestic matters, first of all, have any figures from Ohio asked the administration for any help or assistance to safeguard the vulnerable communities there?
Good afternoon, everyone. Major apologies for being half hour late. Well, I can tell you that the U.S. was not involved in it. The U.S. was not aware of this incident in advance, and at this point we're gathering information.
And what information have you gathered so far?
We'll continue to collect information. I don't have any public readout to give now, but we're collecting information in the same way that journalists are across the world to gather the facts about what might have happened.
Do you have any indications that to doubt that it would be Israel that was behind the...
I don't have any assessment to offer one way or other at this point.
How does this play into it? Is there any message that you're sending to Israel in terms of what to do next, or for that matter to Iran, to Hezbollah, in terms of how to respond to this?
So I never want to either comment or speculate about the impact of any one incident, especially in the early stages of an incident, and I'm not going to do so here. That's been our consistent policy to try and avoid doing. I will say that our overall policy remains consistent, which is we do want to see a diplomatic resolution to the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. Them. I will say that, of course, since October 7th, we have seen any number of incidents that have led to the heightened risk of escalation. That has been a feature of the conflict across the blue line since October 7th. And so we are always concerned about escalation. We are always concerned about any type of event that may cause further escalation. And it remains our message to both Israel and to other parties that they need to do everything they can to try and reach a diplomatic resolution. I think it's too early to say. Look, this is an incident that just occurred in the past few hours. We're continuing to gather information about it. I wouldn't want to speculate or make any predictions about what might happen. I've seen the reports. I don't want to speak to what the implications might be before a report is confirmed, but certainly, as is always the case, we would urge Iran not to take advantage of any incident, any instability, to try to add further instability and to further increase tensions in the region. That has been our message to Iran since October 7th. Obviously, we believe that civilians are not legitimate targets for any type of operation, and that no country should be targeting civilians. No country nor organization should be targeting civilians. Members of a terrorist organization are legitimate targets for countries to launch operations against. And those are the principles that we hold ourselves to, and those are the principles we expect other countries to uphold in their operations. Go ahead. I'll come to you, Sally.
I know that you don't want to comment on